Story 1. Prioritizing health over work. Your employer does not care about you, and no amount of money will buy that time back. Story 2. Exercising has helped tremendously with my back pain, my knees, and with losing weight. I eat normally and do not drink alcohol. Earlier this year, I could barely walk to my local supermarket, which is 500 meters away, and back again. I can do that now, and I have also started going on walks just to enjoy them. My goal is to walk as far as my knees will allow me, without having to resort to the more addictive painkillers I have for emergencies, which I have not needed to use yet. I hope to keep it that way. I am 59 years old, and I am not done. Story 3. Not being afraid to spend money on experiences has led me to travel the world. I used to be frugal, but in the last couple of years, I have taken multiple vacations. I don't regret a single dollar spent. Story 4. Getting rid of social media applications and making the internet a place again, rather than something I carry with me everywhere, has transformed my life for the better. I rarely use the internet on my phone anymore, mostly just for directions. Social media and video platforms remain on the computer. It is remarkable how much this change has positively impacted my life. Story 5. Listening to myself, establishing boundaries, and not worrying about what others think. I wish my younger self had known that things did not always have to be so tough if I had done these 3 things. Story 6. Regular physical activity, practicing gratitude, and reading a book before going to sleep instead of using social media. Story 7. I recently hired a cleaner. Coming from a working-class background where my family never employed anyone for household help, I felt quite uncomfortable making this decision. I have a well-paying job with long hours, and I'm studying for professional exams that require months of preparation outside of work hours. Hiring a cleaner has freed up several hours of my life each week that I can now use to rest. Story 8. Realizing it's okay to say no to plans when I'm tired or to protect my own time and energy, instead of always trying to please others, has been a game changer for my stress levels and overall happiness. I used to feel drained all the time. I wish I had understood sooner that protecting my peace isn't selfish. It's necessary. Story 9. Getting an infected tooth removed was a challenging experience. I didn't realize how unwell I was feeling until it was finally extracted. The pain from the infection was worse than the recovery from the oral surgery. Story 10. I am making almost all my meals at home and cutting out takeout. Cooking and shopping are enjoyable. It is much cheaper and healthier. Story 11. I changed from working 5 days a week in a kitchen as a chef to working the night shift in a hotel due to a foot operation I was waiting for. I now only work 3 days out of 7, and I've never been happier. I had the operation and planned to keep this job. My work-life balance is excellent right now, and I can't imagine working 5 days again. Story 12. Buying my own hot tub was something I fantasized about for many years. I often joked about using it every day if I had one. Every time I went on a cruise, to a resort, or on any vacation, a hot tub was high on my list of criteria. I am posting this from my hot tub on a Friday afternoon with a margarita in hand. It is absolutely one of the best purchases I have ever made. Story 13. Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing was a game changer for me. The difference between having post-traumatic stress disorder and not having it is profound. I put it off for 10 years because I was afraid to face the trauma. I wish I hadn't. Story 14. I am addressing my facial acne. I had no idea how much this was affecting my social life. It turns out one of the main reasons I didn't talk much was that I didn't want people to look at me and notice how unattractive I felt. This is significant. Story 15. Doing theater and improvisation. Mostly local, but it's fun, and I made a few friends along the way. It inspired me to do some extra work, which I enjoyed to a point. I truly wish I had done this when I was a teenager. I would have pursued it with all my effort. Story 16. Getting a dog, going to the gym, deciding to stop caring about what anyone thinks of me, and stopping people pleasing. Story 17. Think about me, what I want and what I like. Who is keeping me away from this? Get rid of them. I also want good quality food. It makes me feel more complete, satisfied, and relaxed. Story 18. Taping interesting items to my walls, like drawings, posters, and certificates, allows me to look up and see things I have created, purchased, and achieved. This is a significant help in avoiding negative thoughts. Story 19. I adopted my puppy. It wasn't the right time in my life before. It was a significant decision that I had to wait to make. She is now 11.5 years old. Story 20. Going to the gym and getting fitter, stronger, and healthier has made me feel more confident. I fit better in clothes and have more options to choose from, which I appreciate. I no longer feel winded when climbing stairs or engaging in regular physical activity. Additionally, I have been receiving more romantic attention and have experienced significant improvements in my overall mental health. Story 21. Adding people to the block list. Deleting social media. Speaking up without worrying about offending others. Story 22. I stopped being frugal when it came to a bed. I realized that I needed a firmer mattress. I bought a quality Japanese futon along with a tatami bed frame. The whole setup cost around $3,000. I thought I had chronic back pain, but it turned out it was just my poor quality bed. Story 23. Deleting Instagram and Facebook. Doing core exercises. Therapy. Make a conscious effort to put things where they belong immediately instead of later. Story 24. Letting go of things I cannot control. I am not perfect at it, but I try. It has made life much more peaceful. Story 25. I came out as a lesbian at 45, and my life is a million times happier. I'm currently living with my girlfriend, who just moved in. Story 26. Getting rid of belongings and retiring. We sold the large house everyone in our generation thought we needed. We had filled it with possessions we believed we had to have. But it was owning us, we didn't own it. Our children were long gone. Maintenance, utilities, and taking care of it all consumed too much time and money and frankly just wasn't any fun. My heart found a better home in a small condominium in Florida. It takes just a few minutes a day to manage it, and we have so much more fun all the time. January is around 75 degrees, and so is February. We sold the large house and gave away everything in it except our summer clothes. I wish we had done that 10 years earlier. Seriously, belongings own you, not the other way around. And genuinely, children today don't want those possessions. Make memories because those are the only things you take with you. Story 27. I had my tonsils removed. They were problematic and I kept getting viral infections. Finally, an ear, nose, and throat specialist took one look at them and said, "Why don't we remove those? No more tonsil stones and no more infections." Story 28. I quit my job because I was miserable and working so many hours that I felt I didn't have time to search for a new position, so I stayed longer than I should have. Eventually, I reached my limit and quit on the spot during a meeting with my two supervisors, giving my 2 weeks' notice. I didn't have anything else lined up, but the lack of sleep and stress about deadlines as a lawyer became unhealthy. I took a couple of months off, which was financially challenging, and then an incredible opportunity just kind of fell into my lap. Now I am very happy. Story 29. Moving cities was a significant decision for me. I found myself stuck in my college town working. The cost of living was affordable, and I became complacent despite my dissatisfaction. After spending so much time there, I had convinced myself that my unhappiness was unrelated to the city. However, moving changed my perspective and greatly improved my mood. Now, I am planning to relocate to my dream city next year. Story 30. I had a close friend who texted me daily to complain about her life, her lack of a romantic partner, her weight, her job, and more. She never asked about me or my children. I eventually decided to end the friendship, and it took me years to realize it was the right choice. I missed the idea of our friendship, but the reality of it was disappointing, and it took me about 15 years to understand that. Story 31. I am focusing on self-improvement through therapy and a life coach. I am establishing better boundaries with the abusive individuals in my life and actively attending to my own needs. Story 32. Hanging out with people and talking to strangers. I haven't used cannabis in a while. Story 33. I started quitting things. I quit drinking and smoking, which really motivated me to begin new activities I never would have considered before. Story 34. 1. Going to bed at 9 p.m. during the week. Changing my drinking habits. I am not a big drinker, but even with what I did consume, it was starting to affect me. I liked my Friday after-work beer or a cocktail on Saturday. However, drinking with that kind of consistency led to sleep issues, especially as I approached 30 years old. I am now 31. I would not be able to sleep through the night and would wake up at 2 a.m., unable to return to sleep if I had consumed even a single beer. I have switched to non-alcoholic beers and cocktails to enjoy a nice reward on a Friday or Saturday and keep alcohol consumption to social occasions or date nights with my wife. This change has resulted in a significant reduction in alcohol consumption, so when I do drink, it does not affect me as it used to, allowing me to enjoy it and sleep through the night. Story 35. Listening to self-help audiobooks covering topics such as business, sales, health, marketing, psychology, dating, parenting, and management can be highly beneficial. They are often available for free from libraries, or you can subscribe to services like Audible. In my 20s, I listened to 150 audiobooks, which completely transformed the foundation that my parents attempted to establish. Many beliefs and facts you hold true may simply be unchallenged assumptions that have hindered your growth. I listened to these books while driving, cleaning, running, and playing video games. It felt like a direct connection to a new reality, reshaping my worldview with a more informed perspective. The challenging aspect is that you often need a catalyst to inspire you to seek improvement. Most people require a significant event such as being fired, experiencing bankruptcy, becoming a parent, going through a divorce, or losing a pivotal influence in their lives to jolt them out of complacency and prompt them to reconsider their current path. Story 36. My husband, more than anyone, benefited from getting a continuous positive airway pressure machine for his sleep apnea. Sleep is incredibly important. Once he started getting quality sleep, everything in his life improved drastically. Truly feels like a miracle machine. There is better health, improved mood, enhanced concentration, and weight loss. If anyone is unsure about it, please consider getting one. Story 37. Extra firm mattress. You don't get that sinking feeling in bed, but I sleep through the night because I don't toss and turn as much and nothing hurts in the morning. Story 38. Cutting people off entirely means not just creating distance but also having no contact. Some individuals lingered in my life for far too long. Story 39. Planning enjoyable activities. I have children, bills, a mortgage, and I am married while working full-time. Life can become very repetitive, much like the movie Groundhog Day. I recently organized a mini vacation for us, and knowing I have something to look forward to has provided extra motivation to get through the days. Story 40. Quality mattress and pillow. They are life-changing and have eliminated my back and neck pain. Bed. Sattva Classic Luxury Firm. Pillow. Sobel Westex Sahara Nights. Story 41. Is this a recurring question here? Or are so many people asking the same question? Story 42. I used bottom bed sheet straps to hold the sheet tight. Fitted sheets alone are not enough. Get the straps and secure them. No more sheets bunching up beneath me ever. I also upgraded from inexpensive microfiber sheets to nicer old-fashioned cotton sheets, and it's so much better. They are heavier to launder, but they provide a much more comfortable sleeping experience. In summary, tight cotton sheets are the way to go. Story 43. I cannot emphasize this enough. Optimize your hormones and weightlifting. Invest in your health now and you won't have to later. Most of us have car payments every month, and a car is much less valuable than our body's well-being. Story 44. I started hormone replacement therapy and I compare it to watching my life through an old scrolling cathode ray tube monitor. I am now experiencing life directly. My senses are not constantly numb. It's not distorted by interference. Everything is just clear. Story 45. LASIK, hysterectomy, and therapy. I tried a few times, but finding the right therapist changed everything. Story 46. Outdoor walks and losing weight. along with quitting all forms of nicotine and drinking less, have improved my life significantly. Story 47. Is there anyone who wants to start exercising and hold each other accountable? I am really struggling. Story 48. Exercising before work allows you to reclaim your evenings. There is something invigorating about getting your blood pumping and showering before the day begins that helps maintain your energy levels throughout the day. Story 49. I put effort into interior design while working at CB2 for 5 years. When I started, I didn't even know what a duvet was. By the time I left, my house looked like something out of a magazine advertisement. Story 50. 2 things. 1. Creating a spreadsheet to track all my bills and finances. I feel much less stressed when everything is organized with the numbers. Purchasing a bidet. No sweat, always clean. It is a higher level of comfort. Story 51. I stopped taking Ritalin because it negatively impacted my mental health and kept me focused on negative thoughts. Life has been much more relaxed and better since then, and I am much happier. Story 52. A dry erase board with 7 bullet points lists the tasks I need to accomplish during the week. These can include chores as well as simple activities like going to the store or getting a massage. The top of the board says, "Today I didn't," and the bottom says, "And that's okay." This method helps me stay on task without feeling overwhelmed while allowing me to forgive myself if I don't complete everything. Story 53. Getting quality sleep is essential. Avoid any activities in bed besides sleeping. Wake up every day at the same time, which will help me go to bed at the same hour without effort. Use blue light filters on screens. I use f.lux, but there are many options available. Being well rested is crucial. Story 54. Exercise, learning on the go, avoiding stress about small things, praying and fasting for answers. The basics must be in line, or else everything falls apart. Whenever you need to step away, do so productively, swiftly, and wisely. Story 55. Getting rid of Twitter and cycling regularly. I also try to be more available to see friends and call my parents more often. Story 56. Getting on hormone replacement therapy. Thank goodness I didn't listen and start antidepressants. Who knows where I would be today? Story 57. I gave up alcohol and drugs. After counseling sessions, sensory deprivation, and meditation, I began to recognize the causes of my anxiety. Story 58. A good, high-quality mattress is essential since you spend a third of your life lying on one. Investing in a quality mattress can significantly improve your sleep quality, transforming it from poor to excellent. It has made a noticeable difference in managing my chronic insomnia. I woke up feeling more refreshed, grounded, and ready to start my day. You would be surprised at how much of a difference it can make for mental health. Story 59. Stretching every morning and evening makes a significant difference. Even the simple act of sitting down and standing up can have a major impact over time. Consider the many Asian people who sit on the floor daily to eat. Their quality of life is remarkable compared to that of the Western world. Story 60. Getting up early is wonderful. I love enjoying the quiet and having my coffee in peace before the day starts, especially with kids and pets around. Story 61. Starting weightlifting and practicing Pilates at home. I realized I didn't need to go to the gym and spend hundreds of dollars. I needed discipline and willpower to follow through. Story 62. Living alone. Pets are all I need in my home. Guests usually invite me to go out for lunch or do activities together. I like my home to be a quiet, safe space. Story 63. Moving out from living with my toxic mother was a positive change. People had told me for years that I could manage on my own with my son, but she consistently insisted that I was too depressed. Suffice it to say, when I finally made the decision to leave, I flourished. Story 64. Cut out processed foods, added sugars, and natural flavors. I started making everything from scratch. Story 65. Working out started at 22. I wish I had started in high school. It gave me more morale, confidence, and a nicer body. It also provided me with a hobby that I could have enjoyed earlier instead of spending all day playing video games. Story 66. Finding God in a serious and loving Christian community of peers has helped me make close friends and foster experiences and growth I couldn't have achieved before. I have experienced an overwhelming amount of love and support. Story 67. Leaving a job that had become toxic, with both my employer and myself to blame. I can see trust now. Story 68. Daytime naps are wonderful. I love them. They make my days much better, giving me more energy and an improved mood compared to days when I don't take my short naps. Story 69. Ergonomic office chair. I sit all day for my job, so I have no idea why I went without one for so long. They aren't cheap, but thankfully my employer reimbursed a great deal of it. Story 70. Riding bikes with friends is one of the best experiences. There's nothing better than getting outside with a group of friends for an afternoon mountain bike session. Story 71. Quit smoking. I still occasionally miss it, but my chest is much better. I have more money and time. Story 72. I stopped comparing myself to others and started being grateful for what I have. Felt like I stepped away from a race, and it was so relaxing. Story 73. Daily movement, such as walking or yoga, along with daily meditation and lymphatic drainage exercises, is beneficial. A good quality B vitamin complex and vitamin D3/K2 supplement should be included. Regular massage, myofascial release, and acupuncture are also recommended. Story 74. I moved my phone charger from my bedside table to the other side of the room to prevent myself from having my phone in bed. It's not a huge change, but keeping the bed for sleeping only has significantly improved my quality of sleep. I will now complete my entire morning routine before checking my phone, whereas before, the first thing I would do upon waking was dive back into mindless scrolling. Story 75. Taking control of my career, workload, and hours as much as I could, I realized that overworking and pushing myself was not getting me anywhere near the executive level. Story 76. Doing Pomodoro sessions for work and making those 5 and 15-minute breaks active. Making my bed and cleaning my spaces once a week. Story 77. Learning how to love myself, understanding that I cannot change people, and ending a marriage with a malignant narcissist. Story 78. CPAP machine. No more snores, better sleep, and no more heartburn. Except for hot dogs, those make me snore. Story 79. Losing weight over 100 pounds without caring about what others think, enforcing my boundaries, and speaking up for myself. Story 80. Investing in a good quality mattress, custom pillows, and a cotton bed sheet set has improved my sleep significantly. I fall asleep quickly and easily now, and many of my body pain issues have resolved. Story 81. Weightlifting has improved my life significantly. I do not lift super heavy weights, just around 45 minutes 3 times a week with dumbbells at home. I look better, feel better, have more energy, sleep better, and all of my chronic pain is gone. My knee pain from an old injury, chronic hip pain, and back pain are all gone. Story 82. I quit smoking after starting at age 8 and smoking for 24 years. Another major life change for me was becoming a truck driver. I went from barely bringing home $340 a month to earning over $2,400 a month in just 5 weeks. I am disabled now, but when I was over the road, I usually made around $80,000 a year. My last local job paid $4,800 a month. Story 83. Reduction of obsessive-compulsive disorder has been a significant challenge. However, there has been complete recovery from depression, and there is renewed hope for the future, aided by regular medication prescribed by a psychiatrist. Story 84. I am 40 years old, and this year I made the decision that if the answer isn't a definite yes, then it is a no. This applies to plans, expectations, and anything else. If I do not truly want to do something, I will say no. Story 85. I am doing lower back stretches followed by full body stretches. I walk 2 miles each day, avoid sugar, and take L-theanine and caffeine for energy without a crash. I feel rejuvenated after sleep. Story 86. I stopped smoking and drinking, and I started lifting weights. My life has completely changed from being broke and spending time in jail to earning $40,000. I now have a house, kids, a wife, and 2 cars. I couldn't be happier. Story 87. Creating a budget and going to therapy are important steps. I did not have the right tools for life when I entered adulthood. Story 88. I talked to my doctor about how I didn't feel like my antidepressant was helping much anymore. I was nervous about switching to a new medication since the last time I ended up in the hospital due to serious thoughts of self-harm. He also prescribed Wellbutrin, and in the last 6 months I have felt much better and have leveled out. I probably haven't felt this good in 20 years since I was in middle school. I realized how miserable my job had been making me for the last 5 years and how negatively it affected all aspects of my health. I have found a new job that I start next week, and I'm really excited because I had the chance to talk with some of the people I'd be working with, and I already felt welcomed into the team. This new position will also allow me to focus on finishing my degree, which I have been wanting to do for over 10 years, and now I'm in the right headspace to accomplish that. Story 89. Cutting off toxic family and stopping smoking marijuana. I have no problem with cannabis. It's just something that altered my mind for the worse, not the better, after a while. It no longer calmed me. Instead, it started to give me more and more anxiety as I got older. I will never smoke marijuana again, but to all of you enjoying it, go ahead and light up for me. Story 90. Jesus. Eating a great diet high in protein and fiber, with low to moderate carbohydrates and little to no sugar or alcohol, while prioritizing my health through adequate sleep, supplements, and physical activity. Story 91. Getting diagnosed with depression and going to therapy or starting medication. Then, speaking up and having the dosage adjusted as needed. Story 92. Working out how I want to, rather than the best way, walking outside without headphones, meditating, and stopping caffeine intake 9 hours before bed. Story 93. Paying attention to basic needs. Oxygen, deep breathing and walking outside, water, 6 glasses a day, sleep, 7 to 9 hours a night, and nutrition. 5 servings of fruits or vegetables a day does wonders for cholesterol, constipation, and skin health. Story 94. I am eliminating certain people from my life. A couple in particular only discuss their lives, money, and other trivial matters. They display characteristics such as dishonesty, selfishness, insecurity, pessimism, and a lack of interests or hobbies. Surprisingly, I am not lonely and have a few wonderful friends for life. Story 95. Getting a bidet is a genuine game changer. The only downside is that when I go anywhere without one, it feels like I'm roughing it. Story 96. I started taking Prozac at 38 years old, but I should have started at age 10. Life would have been significantly better if I had. Story 97. Buying a new car means no more dealing with used vehicles that require constant repairs. You can simply jump in and drive without worrying about worn-out parts like intermittent coil packs, faulty injectors, a worn clutch, or problems with the steering wheel and headlights. People who claim that used cars are cheaper either ignore repair costs or enjoy spending their weekends fixing issues and investing in tools that may only be used once a year. Story 98. 2 things stand out for me. Be at peace with the things you cannot change and be disciplined. You can achieve a lot through discipline. Story 99. I learned how to negotiate my own salary when finding a job. I feel foolish for waiting until I was 48 to do it, having spent my time since I was 21 thinking I knew better. After I learned, I showed my wife, who earns twice as much as I do. It changed where we could live and we upgraded. I wrote that and feel regret for the wasted time. Story 100. I quit drinking alcohol after the removal of my gallbladder. I didn't drink a lot, but I am very glad not to have hangovers or spend a lot of money on drinks. Story 101. Buying a quality mattress significantly improved my sleep and was highly beneficial for my overall health. Story 102. Quitting smoking cigarettes has been a journey. It has been 7 years, and every day I feel grateful for my decision to quit. I am also proud of myself. Story 103. Yoga and meditation have helped me set limits in my relationships. I used to prioritize others' feelings and often forgot about myself. Story 104. I started 4B around 10 years ago before I knew what it was. I began focusing on supporting women and distancing myself from friends who harmed me or voted against my basic human rights. Surprisingly, I no longer have any men in my friend group. Story 105. Quit eating ultra-processed foods and reduce fast food consumption. I have lost over 40 pounds, and I sleep better, feel better, and my mood has improved. Story 106. Closing down my house at bedtime, I get my kids to bed and spend 30 minutes cleaning up and preparing for the morning. It's amazing how your day can start off better with a clean, empty sink and coffee ready to be brewed. It has transformed me into a morning person. Story 107. Among many things, getting rid of social media, specifically Instagram and TikTok, has made me more productive and carefree. I no longer feel the constant urge to engage in other people's lives, which can be exhausting, especially when I'm no longer interested in those activities. The easy access to information often makes it hard to resist. Since January, when I removed my social media accounts, I have significantly reduced my technology usage and have found much more peace. I highly recommend it. Story 108. Comfortable boots, comfortable clothes that boost my confidence, and commuting in a car I enjoy, even with a longer 40-minute commute each way, all contribute to a better experience. Story 109. Hysterectomy for years of endometriosis and other pelvic issues has alleviated my pain. I feel like a new, fitter, more active and energetic person. This is wonderful. Story 110. Caring about my health is no joke. It's about being mindful of what I eat, getting enough sleep, and moving my body as if it were more than just a chair attachment. It has been life-changing. Story 111. Buying a high-quality ergonomic desk chair was initially a challenge for me to justify the expense, but my back pain has decreased to nearly zero. Story 112. Moving to another country allows for better job opportunities. I've doubled my income, worked less, and enjoyed better weather. I no longer have to sit in traffic, which was exhausting before. I can enjoy going to restaurants, attending sports events, and traveling without worrying about expenses. Story 113. Applying for a job I wasn't qualified for. I am thankful for the position I am in now. I am looking to progress even further. Story 114. LASIK, hysterectomy, and therapy. I tried a few times, but finding the right therapist changed everything. Story 115. Learning to sit with painful or uncomfortable emotions instead of using sex, drugs, video games, or food to cope. Story 116. Reading some pages of a fiction book before sleeping has become a routine for me. I started this habit in college around 2017, as I struggled to fall asleep while thinking about my academic responsibilities for the next day. I decided to disconnect from it all by immersing myself in made-up stories. This approach worked surprisingly well for me. I read 25 books by Isaac Asimov, 9 books by Ian Banks, and the entire Expanse series, among others. This routine supported my ability to get decent sleep and, in my opinion, positively impacted my academic performance. College ended in 2021, but I continue this habit. Story 117. Getting off of Reddit. What else? Taking it easy in school, therapy, antidepressants, building my own personal computer, saving money. Story 118. Dramatically reducing my lifestyle to the minimum possible made me realize that many of the things I thought I needed in my life, I actually didn't need. Life is much more peaceful now. Story 119. Get a CPAP. I went to work after using it for the first night, and multiple people told me I was a different person. I guess I didn't realize how much my poor sleep was affecting me. Story 120. I guess accepting a psychiatrist's diagnosis and starting the long process of finding medication that helps is important. I received a diagnosis when I was first hospitalized at 23 years old, but I outright refused to acknowledge it. It wasn't until my late 20s, when things reached a dire point, that I finally realized something needed to change. I remember when we found a combination of medication that made me happy and functional for the first time in my life. My husband cried in the psychiatrist's office, saying thank you for helping us. Story 121. Starting Manjaro. I have lost 84 pounds and counting. I went from using an insulin pump with double-strength insulin to no pump and no short-acting insulin. I have type 2 diabetes. My last A1C was 6.2. This has changed my whole life. Story 122. I know quitting drinking will be beneficial. I have done it several times and usually maintain a healthy relationship with alcohol. However, the last year of my life has been extremely challenging. The worst year I have experienced. I am witnessing in real time how people fall into this destructive cycle that degrades both mind and body. Story 123. Therapy with the right therapist. I have searched. It's not for a lack of trying. But this woman truly understands me and knows exactly what to say. Story 124. Getting a new car has transformed my life. After my car accident, I didn't care what I drove, but the unreliable car I had affected my mental health for months. Once I got a new car, I felt like a different person. Story 125. I removed dairy and meat from my diet and began eating mostly whole foods. I have always struggled with high cholesterol and elevated blood pressure since my 20s. I finally have these issues well under control without any medication. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.